Hooray!
Hello.
That works. Hooray. So getting all very fancy. It's getting very, very fancy. Hello. Hello to everybody that's joined us. Thank you for joining us in the 2 minutes countdown. And with me now, of course, is Stacey Marston. Hello, Stacey Marston.
Hello. I've just realised how silly we look both wearing the same t-shirt.
No, it's not silly. I think that's on brand. That's on point, that is.
I feel like I'm a children's TV presenter.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I think it looks rather cool. I think you've got a rather good top on, but well, I won't ask what's on the back. We'll save that for later. Actually, okay. I'll keep that in suspense and surprise. I think I know what it is already. So, anyway, of course, hello to everybody. Hello, everybody. I am Danny Norman, athlete ID number 482, and Stacey Marston, athlete number 292006, Cowl Clubber as well, and Cannon Hill Parkrun is your home parkrun. Just say a few more things. Cowl Clubber, you've hit 100 bang on. When did that happen?
Literally the day of the last parkrun before lockdown, and I thought at one point it wasn't going to happen, and I don't think I realised on that day that we weren't going to be able to parkrun for so long. But I am so glad I got it in just in time, because otherwise to be sitting on 99 now would be a bit gutting. So yeah, I was glad to get my 100th in, and it was a really special one as well. So It was a nice one to finish just before lockdown.
Absolutely, you snuck it. That's good. Some people are on too high and others are waiting, but yeah, you managed to just get it in, which is good. Just in case anybody's wondering, if Stacey disappears, goes a bit robotic, if it goes potato internet-y, Stacey is not in the Midlands, not in the middle of England right now. Where are you, Stacey?
I am in a Premier Inn in Newton Abbot, and it was booked before lockdown and everything. And the plan was to be doing a bit of parkrun tourism this weekend. So, you know, my usual style, a Premier Inn the night before, and yeah, I'm sure it's familiar to a few people. So yeah, we're in Devon just for a couple of days, and then back up to Birmingham on Sunday.
So we have to fingers crossed that the ultimate.
Fingers crossed
the ultimate Wi-Fi is actually ultimate. A bit potato.
And I'm not moving. I'm scared to move anywhere because it seems like every time I move, the Wi-Fi drops. So apologies if it's potato. It's much better at home.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a panic. When I say panic, we've just been testing things to make sure. It's been testing and tested, but we're okay. It's good so far. Shall we have a look at some of the comments? Of course, they all come rattling in when we go live. Hello to everybody that's saying hello to you and I. And the suspense is killing people. Yeah, it gets very fancy in the countdown. Did you feel a bit nervous with that? I did.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever been on radio, national radio, local radio at all?
No, I don't think so. No.
I have a couple of times, and you get put in kind of the lobby like we have on the video. And I remember it. I used to get really nervous because, of course, everything spins through your head. I think, am I going to say the right thing, wrong thing? How am I going to sound? Oh my goodness, you can't. It's all live because, of course, you can't take anything back. But you had the same worries, you had the same concerns, didn't you? Because you're like, oh, what, do I have anything interesting to say? And I'm like, yes, you do. And the reason for that is because you are an Uber tourist. And a lot of people that follow us and like us are also Uber tourists. And so whilst I have a quick read through the comments, I'm looking for one person in particular. That's not a this is how I do it. Every time I go to click and someone else has commented and they've pushed the other comments down. Let's try again. And it's that one. There you go.
Hi, Emma.
Hello, Emma. We knew you'd be watching, Emma. We knew you would be. So parkrun tourism, why do you love it so? Tell us.
I think because when I first started doing tourism, it was more just because I happened to be somewhere and I thought, I mean, the first one was Bushy Park, which was like my pilgrimage and wanted to do that. But really in the beginning, apart from Bushy, it was very much I'm away somewhere, let's go and see a different parkrun. I was already listening to the parkrun show and obviously knew about parkrun tourism generally, but it always felt like my parkrun was Cannon Hill and tourism was just, you know, something you did on holiday. And then I think probably like a lot of people, the badges and that started to get a bit kind of competitive with it. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll get to 50 and then I'll stop. And then, you know, it kind of carried on from there. But then I think as a few people, as it stopped being something that I did by myself and a few friends like Claire were doing it as well, and it just just became something that we even got like a bit of a spreadsheet going, who's going where any given weekend.
Claire who? Claire who?
Claire Mullin, sorry, context.
Right, context.
who was passenger Mullin, but we decided passenger was didn't quite say. Claire is navigator Mullin, because I normally drive and Claire makes sure we get where we need to go. With my sense of direction, she's definitely more of a navigator than a passenger. So.
Absolutely. I've discovered that Tiny Steve much prefers Tiny Steve. Doesn't like chauffeur-amic. He doesn't like that title at all. And of course, you're saying about your development, about how you've obviously, like, it's grown and you've been around. Of course, we've crossed paths on a few occasions.
Yeah.
But you just mentioned there you're listening back to the Parkrun Show back catalogue. And do you know what? That's what I was just doing. I was just reminded. I have a piece of paper and writing it down now. You've got a little Facebook group regarding that, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah, so I actually strangely listened to the Parkrun Show before I'd ever done a parkrun. I don't know if you know this.
No,
I was a Marathon Talk listener, and they talked about parkrun and they talked about the Parkrun Show, and it was really when I just started getting into podcasts. So I actually listened to the Parkrun Show for several weeks before finally going and really plucking up the courage to go to my first parkrun, which was the Queen's Jubilee weekend back in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I'd like heard all of this stuff. You know, I've never effed my B because I've been to the Parkrun Show for such a long time before I ever went. So
I love.
I just felt like I was sort of part of a bit of a community before I became part of my home parkrun community. And so I listened all the way through. Obviously, then we had the gap between the pods, and then when I knew you and Nick were coming back, obviously started listening to With Me Now then, and then started listening back to the Parkrun Show. But one of the things that I sort of missed was that, you know, just even like the word Joe Heard and all of that sort of stuff that kind of connected you when you were listening to it. So that's why I started a little Facebook group, just so that people could talk about listening. And I knew lots of other people were listening back as well. And it's just that sort of development, or where the phrases came from and people's names. And it's really funny listening back now as well, and hearing people mentioned who I've then subsequently met and become friends with, and hearing when I would tweet the show and I get like tweets read out and things like that. It's really, really strange to listen to it now, and obviously not be expecting to hear my name suddenly, and other people's names that now feel really familiar. So it's really good.
I love the fact that people are listening back to it. So, of course, if you want to go and find the group on Facebook, it is easily findable, isn't it? You have to, it's public discoverable, but you then have to obviously apply to then come in, which is great. And then what I love about it is that people listening back along and they're reminding us what we said. Sometimes that we made predictions that have come true. Sometimes we're saying things and our attitudes have changed. It's been like a chronological discovery of how we perceive things and how it's developed because of the growth of parkrun. And of course, this week's pod, if some people may have listened to or not, things like the Uber tourist stuff. There was a discussion, debate, argument. I'm always right, nickel forward, that the Uber tourist got redefined as being 30. And I wasn't quite sure. So now I can't go back and listen to it because you guys are. I've had the answers in the comments on this week's pod. I can then go sit down and go, right, we have this massive audience to be able to tell us, actually, this is where these things came in. The lexicon, the language, like you say, all the little terminologies that have grown, of course, things like park faff, or if it's regionaire, or if it's, DFIB, again, is another one which has popped up from us. So all the little lexicon terminology that's arisen from the Park Crunch, because it used to be like canon, being like an official podcast. It was people say, right, okay, this is definitions of things, like the Cow Club as well. So yeah, I love the fact that you did a group. I really appreciate it. I'm a big advocate. So if you want to join Stacey's group and have discussions and chat, then please do. I will not join, I'm afraid, just because the less groups I'm in, the better. That's all it is. But I know it's a nice group anyway.
It is. And honestly, Danny, I promise, everything that everybody says in there is all nothing but positive. It's not, I totally understand. And I feel the same, limiting the amount of groups I'm in. And there's a few of the parkrun groups that I very rare sort of dip my toe into. But it's all positive. So happy memories.
Super. There was a bit of a gap. There's a bit of a pause there. Stay strong, ultimate wife.
Yeah.
Stay
Come
strong.
on, Wi-Fi.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I love the fact that you guys are doing it, and I just know it's very personal. And if somebody says sort of one thing, then yeah, I just don't want to look at that. But like I say, you said it's very, very positive. Anyway, comments. Yeah, I want to do this because it looks like Emma Shaw is trying to have conversation with everybody. Here we go. Hello, everyone. I made it before I went live the first time ever. Well done, Emma. And then what else she's saying? This is proper posh. Okay, fantastic. And then Emma, hope the internet is not spud speed in the Premier Inn. Oh, and there's Emma. I know what's on the back. She's so wrong. She's so excited. She's tapping the keyboard so fast. And where else? Emma Shaw viewer count. There we go. Emma Shaw again.
49. That's not up to speed, is it? That's not up to what we normally get.
Emma Shaw again. Nah, Stacey never panics. Cool as a cucumber. She's trying to hijack this conversation. Anybody else talking there are, but I'm just looking at Emma's comment. Sorry. Question: is Guy there, or was he gone for a run?
Guy's hiding in the loo.
He's actually in the loo. Is he sat in the loo?
Yeah, he's on the loo, like not like he's not going to the toilet.
Doing the loo,
in there. I said I'd feel embarrassed if he was out here. So I mean, he can obviously hear me, but I just would be embarrassed if he was out here.
Call him to come out and say hi. No,
no, he definitely won't. No, he's happy.
Okay, he's happy in the toilet. I find
this is the weirdest start to a weekend away ever. But
Cole Johnson says, "Where are you headed to this weekend, Stacey?"
So we were supposed to be going to Teignmouth Prom parkrun tomorrow, which this part of Teignmouth is somewhere that Guy always went on holidays when he was younger, and I quite wanted to come and do that one. It looked nice, and then the plan had been to go and do Heartlands parkrun next weekend, but we didn't ever book that part of the trip, so we're going back home. So we will go and have a look at Teignmouth tomorrow, I think. Have a little run on prom, and then do some trail running tomorrow, I think.
Super. Okay, so making the most of it. Gabrielle Nia, hello Gabby. We have a Bev now. We need the Dolly mention. Dolly's up there, if you notice. She's just up there. So I've put her in there's a little picture up there for everybody. Who's this? Oh yeah, Emma Shaw again. Here we go. Stacey said when she got to 100 tours, she was so boring. I just laughed. She said, and lots of exclamation marks there.
Well, I might stop touring now, because I think like a lot of people, lockdown has made me think about a little bit.
We can't tour. We can't.
Yeah, well, but also even when we can, I don't know whether I think just something about the slower pace of life. I'm not sure that getting up so early on a Saturday morning to head off. So I still will tour, but I don't think it'll be every weekend.
Well, Emma reciprocates the comment.
She said.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? That's exactly. I went interesting, because you've echoed my feelings. I thought actually, the tourism on occasion was a little bit stressful, tiresome, and obviously we had a little bit of extra compulsion for the pod side of things. But I thought, did I need to do it quite so much? And like yourself, you're going, maybe I'll ease off. And do you know what? The proof is in the pudding when the options come available, and you watch the following weeks when it happens again. I expect we'll be going, because there's a bunch of new events as well. I'll pinch of salt, you and I, about whether or not we'll actually pause or slow down the touring. I don't know if I can actually believe myself. Jane Cuskin, I'm talking about Dolly in the shoebox, right? Lots of different comments. Okay, let's try and get through them. Okay, just to keep her happy. Right, that's the last of Emma Shaw's comment. Perry Hall. Yes, we're going to Perry Hall for the powwow. And Ruth Robson says, I agree about tourism. We've enjoyed doing less driving and we'll probably tour less in future. Yeah, I mean, that's a sentiment. It's definitely crossed our minds. And I don't know if you get the same impression that the longer the wait goes on, I think, I'm certainly discovering that people's, they're jumping to time, drumming their fingers on the table and going, is it coming back? Am I missing it quite so much? I'm having to be forced to be a bit local. I like the convenience of just going to green space running at another time. The worry is that people are going to get used to not having parkrun. They're not so eager to go back to it. What do you think?
Yeah, I sort of think I will definitely parkrun, but it's just whether I'll tour as much. And I think I will still tour, but enjoy it probably more when I do, not feeling like it's something that I have to do. Because if I think about I've had some fantastic times but I've also had a few occasions where I've sort of squeezed it in a little bit and not really felt that I've had as much time as I wanted to. And there were a few times when it's just been, well, that one's close. It's kind of a ticking it off the list, rather than, but equally, that has taken me to some places I would never have otherwise gone to. So it's, I don't know, I'm sort of a little bit torn between, yes, at times it was probably a little bit silly, and I probably didn't enjoy it as much as I should, or have as much time as I should have had. But in other cases, it's just kind of opened my eyes up to different places. And even if I think about something like getting my alphabet and going to Poland and going to Zielona Góra, and that's somewhere that I just wouldn't have otherwise gone. There's no reason that I would have gone there otherwise if it weren't for a parkrun. And it was fantastic, and the people were amazing, and yeah, we just had such a good weekend. And I think, why else would I have gone there but to get a Z? And that feels really silly to say it. It just feels like, you know, I don't know what to liken it to. It's like stamp collecting or something. I don't know, but
you're amongst friends.
It matters to us, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, you're amongst friends. I think half the people watching us, well, if not all of them, will relate to you completely and utterly regarding that. A lot of stuff that you were saying is echoing with me. It makes a lot of sense to me. And that's what I think the point of this kind of community thing with the parkrun show, and this is, like you say, it's this is a very much specific interest group. You don't have to feel silly, because of course we have those thoughts too. I have those thoughts too, where you say, like, what am I doing? Is this the right thing to do? But if I don't go, but then again, you go, I might miss out on this particular green space. So there are cases when you're getting up at 5 a.m. going, what am I doing right now?
Yeah.
But
then you find yourself there, and you find yourself talking to, you know, you'd be running around with somebody and just having a chat. And, you know, I have met so many people. And yeah, I think if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have had all of those experiences and met all those people as well. So I definitely, I think it's slightly bonkers, but in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. Gabby Near, again, really interesting to hear about this break to the touring. Lockdown has made me look at my area in a very different way. Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing lots of green space discoveries. Have you been finding off beaten paths and things around your area?
Yeah, so I have done a different not parkrun every week since we started, and it's always involved either, you know, I've not sort of been really strict. The whole thing's got to be done in the park. Some of it has been running from the house to a park, but I mean, I have to say, South Birmingham, where we live, is full of so many amazing parks, and some of them that I'd been to when we first moved to Brum, like 9 years ago, and then hadn't been back to, and that's been one of my sort of joys of lockdown, rediscovering some fantastic parks that we've got, and you know, even the ones that are really far too small to fit in a park run, but there's still, you know, really quirky little things about them. And it's amazing actually how many green spaces I can run to from my door.
Absolutely.
So that's been a positive.
Absolutely. You'll like this comment. Well, everybody loves this comment. Chloe, a little correction of that saying, Danny, the proof is not in the pudding. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Sorry, I had to correct your phrasing. I love those comments, Chloe. Right, Chloe, you're going to come on in a couple of weeks to bring you on live, and I'm going to make sure that you can not make any mistakes in your speech whatsoever. Right, let's have a go. Always appreciate it. But you're right. You are right, Chloe. Sorry. Sometimes, yeah, when you're on the fly while speaking, you can, get tongue-tied. Linda Bushy says, I am looking forward to just being a park runner again after 10 years as an ED. Loads of comments coming in, people loving this and agreeing. Emma Shaw again. I meant to ban you, Emma. This is the best way to start. And Carl Johnson had a 2 a.m. For our day trips Jersey, proper best day ever in my parkrun journey. Yeah, I mean, it certainly builds memories, and it's better than lying in bed, isn't it, doing nothing and feeling like you've wasted the Saturday. Yeah. And apologies if I don't come to all the comments, because of course, yeah, this come rattling through. Right, I want you to move on to some other bits and pieces. So, right, quick fire questions. Hopefully you'll have seen this last week, and do you know what, I'm just going to turn the other ticker off because it's quite distracting at the bottom. Right, quick fire questions. Now, are you ready? You have to give us the answers.
Okay. Both.
That's fine. That's absolutely acceptable answer. Correct answer. If anything, somebody said last week, arbitrary is actually the correct answer.
Oh yes, sorry.
Very true. Very true. Right then.
Warm down.
Show us your back.
I'm scared to do this with the internet.
Will you pull the headphone with it? Yeah. Don't go anywhere. There you go. Beautiful. Lovely. Perfect. All right, Milestone or Apricot?
Oh, Apricot.
Ooh.
At the moment.
Okay. Flat or hilly? Okay. Trail or tarmac? And I guess if it's flat, then you prefer.
Yeah, tarmac.
Okay, fair enough. Out and back or laps? What do you prefer?
Laps.
Okay, cool. And if you could have a parkrun PB, all-time PB, or take the #1 token, what would you rather have?
PB.
Huh? Interesting. Okay. Marmite, yes or no?
I don't mind it.
It's good. It's good.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. Good. Coffee, tea, neither.
Tea, 100%. Yorkshire tea.
What's your Wilson index number?
Oh, I forgot.
I know what it is.
Is it 3 or 4?
No, you're higher. You're higher than that.
Oh no, it's high. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with about 9.
Nearly 8. Yeah. So you 8.
Hmm.
What's an index number? Last couple of questions for you. Most memorable parkrun moment.
Oh, I'm going to be really annoyed with myself because I'm going to forget something really good.
It'll always happen. You will go back, you'll watch this back and go, you'll sit there. I mean, I'm going, what about that amazing experience? Because you've done 303 park runs.
Yeah, I've got a couple that come straight to mind. Meeting Paul Sinton Hewitt at Nobles Park. It wasn't Nobles Park when it was their alternative course on the Isle of Man, and I had my picture taken with him, and Guy said that I looked happier with Paul Sinton Hewitt on that picture than I did on our wedding photo. And then Guy was on the funnel giving out tokens and said to PSH, now what you need to do with this is take it over there to get it scanned. And that's, but it was funny. And he laughed. So
absolutely.
Meeting PSH and probably my 250th was a really, really good weekend. It was really special. I had balloons and cake, and you can't really go wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Sorry, it was quick fire, and I can't do that.
No, that's fine. No, the quick fires have been done. If anything, I like those expanded questions about most memorable parkrun because, of course, I agree. It's like if you're forced in this position to go, what's my favourite? There are too many. It's really hard
I'll
to
think of something later and be like,
You'll be sat there at 9 o'clock. You'll be like, bah, no, you'll shout it. And Danny, I needed to say this. And it's too late. It's too late, I'm afraid, Stacey. And of course, you mentioned things like the alphabet that you have done. You got your Z. But what is your favourite running challenges badge? What's the one you most? Is it the alphabet? Or
it's probably the alphabet. It's probably the alphabet. I think that's quite it's quite eccentric and it's quite weird. And trying to explain to people what you're here for. You're here for a Q. You're here for a
I'm just saying you have to get parkrun bingo. Just having a quick check. I've actually got your list up here in front of me. No bingo just yet, right?
No, I'm missing 52 seconds. Is it something like that?
52. Okay, I'll have to have a look. Yeah, I'll have a peek. That's on the way. Right, there you go. 25 minutes. Bang on. That's it.
That's all right. We
there you
got
go.
Anybody watching still?
Yeah, there are absolutely. I've held an audience. Who would have thought? Absolutely across both our channels. And down the bottom, if you want to again get in touch with us, email us at With Me Now Podcast and support us on Patreon. And of course, Patreon. You are a patron of ours, Stacey. Massive thank you to you and 207, I think, other people who are doing it as well. Have one last quick look in the comments because of course I'll let you get on with your holiday and vacation. Thank you for your time with the premiere in and
it's a pleasure.
All these technical things, waiting for the technical things and helping me get it together. And of course, filling in. So we had a couple of people, but they've had to be put back to other dates. It's a bit of a last minute call for you, but you wonderfully said, yep, I'll step in. So I really appreciate that. Really enjoyed this. So thank you very much, says Carl Johnson. Super fast. I feel like it goes really quickly. What about yourself?
Yeah, no, it went really quickly. Yeah, and I'm just now thinking, have I said things that make sense and all that? So I'm probably going to think later on, why did you say that? But yeah, it was good. It was good fun, and it was real pleasure to be asked. And as you say, I was a little bit concerned because I'm not in a core team or anything like that. Was worried about the internet holding up, but it's been a real pleasure. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah,
you speak to our audience. Absolutely. Look, Michael Wood's brilliant interview. That's the thing. People can relate to you, and we could talk for hours. You and I, when we were at Edworth, we could be in a cafe, and of course, we could be sat there talking, and the people surround us going, "Come on, let's go!" But we could be talking hours. And if we did, then people would slowly drift off. But thank you very much. And of course, let's finish it off with the one and the only Emma Shaw.
Oh, thanks, Emma.
There you go. Thank you to Elizabeth Shazam and Kathy Nightingale, and Drew Edwards and Jane Cuskin and Julie Patterson and Paul Allco and everybody that's commented and watching. Beverly Gow and Bev Gow. Of course, you met Bev very quickly. When we met, I was soaked to the skin and unable to communicate. So
it's freezing, wasn't it, after that downpour at Warwick Racecourse? That was it.
Warwick Racecourse, that's the one.
It's coming
Absolutely.
back to me now.
Is it going on the memory I had that I missed?
No,
Brilliant.
I'm going to tell you, I put next to me my list of all of my different parkruns just in case I had a mental block of the names of any horses. So yeah, I've got them here just in case.
Done your research. Brilliant. Right. Well, take care. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful Friday. As is always the case, have a wonderful parkrun weekend, everyone. And for those in New Zealand, if you're watching, have a great actual parkrun weekend too. Right then. Ready for these aren't Zoom faces, these are StreamYard faces. Ta-ra.
Bye.